Well, Bloomsday, of course, just a couple of days away, and the race is so ingrained in Spokane's DNA that it's really hard to imagine a time when we didn't have it. Ahead of the 50th running of the race, KREM 2's Mark Hanrahan spoke with the man who started it all, and Mark is live tonight with the story. Mark.
Yeah, good evening to you, Laura. This entire weekend in the race is a huge undertaking. Simply put, it could not happen without the army of volunteers, many of which you see working behind me, and the community who shows up every year to run the race. It really is a community effort. But as you mentioned, the race's origins can be traced back to one man and his idea. It is part of Spokane's culture. The first Sunday of May, tens of thousands of runners and walkers lace up their shoes, put on their race bibs, and descend downtown to take on the 12K course. Bloomsday is synonymous with spring in Spokane, and it all began as an idea. Here we are, about to have the 50th running of Bloomsday. Looking back to 77, could you have imagined this day?
No. I mean, those of us who were involved in the organization, probably to a fault, didn't think very far ahead.
The year was 1977. Don Kardong, not far from his fourth place finish in the Olympic Marathon in Montreal, was working as an elementary school teacher in Spokane. When a newspaper reporter interviewed him, he suggested Spokane have its own road race. Then Mayor David Rogers read the story.
And he said, well, I read what you said. And he said, I think that'd be a great thing for Spokane.
Bloomsday was born. That first year, Don says roughly 1,500 runners signed up for the Lilac Bloomsday Run, just a fraction of what we see today.
1,500, I don't know if we had quite that many, but that number probably includes people that we entered twice. we were just scrambling to try to get it all done. But somewhere around that's probably accurate.
In the years that followed, the race exploded in popularity and at one point was the largest timed road race in the world, attracting upwards of 60,000 participants. Don says the 7.46-mile course is long enough to be a challenge, but achievable for just about everyone. The urban setting, the atmosphere, and the traditions keep people coming back.
I never knew we'd get much beyond a couple thousand. And that was even if we did a lot of things right. So to have the numbers that show up every year, it's really gratifying. And so I love it.
Sunday will mark the 50th running of Bloomsday, an iconic event born from Don's passion for running and carried by the community's commitment to show up to the starting line year after year.
I mean, it's really fun to have watched the growth and to watch the way that people enjoy it now. When I get down there at the start, there's just an energy, in the crowd that is hard to miss or hard to beat, I guess. And I sometimes look around and I think, wow, look at this. It's just incredible what's happened here.
And Don is also a perennial. That's a designation given to participants who've run every single Bloomsday. There are still about 70 of them doing so, which is pretty incredible. By the way, Don says he doesn't think he'll run his fastest time this year. He'll complete the course, though. His fastest time, back in 1982, a time of 37:22. We'll hear more from him coming up in our 5 o'clock hour. But for now, Laura, we'll send things back to you.